Marty's Cut Rate Liquor Store, shooting range, candle shop, bowling alley, massage parlor. It's the Dave and Doc Podcast.
Hello, hello.
Happy day. Happy day.
Of course, yeah.
A week has passed.
Almost a week. Yeah.
Almost a week. You're wearing your Boston shirt. I like it.
Yeah. This was...
It's kind of a gray instead of all black, so that's good.
Which is how my soul feels.
We'll get there. Folks, it's the Dave and Doc Podcast.
It is.
He is Dave.
I am Dave.
And I am Doc. And he's the man has battled through. He's quite the trooper. So, so just remember all things for us at our website, DaveDoc071.com. That's Dave, A-N-D, Doc, D-O-C.com.
That's right. And it is episode
71.
Yes.
71.
71 episodes.
That was that the Dolphins' undefeated season in 71?
72.
72. Dang
Yeah.
it. 72, 73, because they went back to back.
So they went, they did go back to back. They weren't undefeated the next year.
Right.
Though.
Yes. But the undefeated season was 72.
72.
Sorry.
The 72.
Thank you. I knew you would know this.
With Bob Greasy, whose
Yes.
son is now a coach with the 49ers.
How about
Brian Greasy.
about that?
There you go.
Larry Zonka.
Those
Mercury Morris.
Yeah. It was a really good. I mean, they went undefeated. Holy shit. I mean, come on. Right?
The only
right?
team. The only team.
I mean, the Patriots tried.
But they did. David Tyree. Eli Manning. He just beats the Patriots.
Trust me, folks, we'll get into some Super Bowl stuff because I got a lot of comments and
I'm very proud of you, man, that we're getting this because I know you were a little bit in mourning.
Yeah, a little upset.
So I got to do it. So we're going to have some dad jokes to start this off.
Yeah.
And I hate to tell you, they're loser dad jokes.
Oh, even better. Even better.
A lot of these are not nice, so I'm not doing those. We're going to try to get some. All right.
Kicking while it's down.
Here we go. No.
Is that a Luke Josh? Is that a Luke Josh song?
Luke Combs. Hey, at the Grammys. Boom. How about that? That's when you know it's legit. Tracy Chapman doesn't just come out and perform for nobody. Anyway.
Well, they also said, hey, Tracy, you probably need a couple bucks because you haven't done anything.
I'm sure they paid her. I mean, yeah, absolutely. All right. So what do a drug addict, a man taking a nap, and Donald Trump have in common?
What?
One's a user, one's a snoozer, and one's a sore loser.
Oh, yeah. I'm the greatest loser of all time.
Oh, man. How can you spot the losers in a social media war?
How?
They're the ones yelling, we tweet, we tweet, we tweet.
That's funny.
That's right.
That was funny.
I thought you would like that.
That was funny.
Why are people with a foot fetish losers?
Why?
Because they like the taste of defeat.
Oh, Lord. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, why is no one in Finland a loser?
Why is no one in Finland a
Why
loser?
is no one in Finland a loser?
Why is that?
Because every line is a finish line. What's the difference between loose and loser?
What's up?
One describes your mom and the other one is your dad. We'll end it on that one.
It's like the guy with the bumper
2
sticker.
out of 5 weren't bad. 2 of those were actually pretty good.
No, they were. Have you ever watched the Fridays with Frank?
No.
So it's a YouTube show.
It's Frank?
Yeah, so it's the Pinal County Sheriff's Department.
Oh.
And they actually have a YouTube channel. And so
it's not Penalt?
No, it is not. I've watched this many, many times. And so he films a lot of his stops, right? And he's really funny. And it's the entire sheriff's department does it, right? Like they have their own channel.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Fridays with Frank. So Frank Slope is his name. Trying to get him on the show.
Please come on our show, Frank.
Frank's awesome,
and I'm gonna watch this because this sounds awesome.
And
this sounds awesome.
So he does one just recently, and I mean they're real short, right? Like it's like just like little 2-minute clips.
Sure.
And so he does one, and he talks to the person, and like you can you hear him and you see him talking to him or whatever, and sometimes it's ridiculous. Like one time a kid was 14 years old and driving a car. And he's like, do you have a driver's license? And he goes, no.
Oh, yes, I do. Well, yes, I do.
Is it suspended? He goes, no, I'm just not old enough to have one. And he was like, I don't have words right now. I'll be right back. And he goes back to his car and he talks. So one guy he pulled over and he got in his car and he said,
this sounds awesome.
He said, I don't know what to say right now. This guy has a bumper sticker that says my other ride is your mom. And he's like, that's hilarious.
Oh, that I think we take that side of their job for granted. I mean, they have to stay serious. You know what I mean? Because I mean, you see that and you just want to bust out laughing, but it's like, well, he has a briefcase of money, cocaine, and there's a hooker in the back. I'm gonna have to do something, but this bumper sticker is hilarious.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny, man. I like that.
Yeah,
Frank Slope.
Yeah, Frank Slope.
Frank, come be on this show, man.
Yeah, no,
because we know you've got good stories. You may have some dad jokes.
He might.
You might have. There's no telling.
He might. Yeah. Fridays with Frank. So, yeah, I know we want to get. We have limited time today.
It's okay. Yes, all the things.
And we want to get to the Super Bowl.
But
I have a couple of things here.
I'm kind of excited.
This
was not rehearsed.
No, so this was
previewed.
So I had a weird dream that involved you.
Oh,
yeah. So
who else was there?
Just you, me, some soap, and and a magic waterfall. No, I don't know what the hell that came out of somewhere. Just another band out of Boston.
Okay,
and an elf.
Okay,
a Keebler elf. This sounds like the worst movie of all time.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay. Okay.
So I have this dream.
All right.
And again, so I'm supposed to tell you this part too because Lindsay said you need to tell your doctor about this. So I'm not sleeping again. Yeah, and it's like, I mean, like sometimes it's bad. Like it's like 3 a.m. and I'm just wide awake and I can't sleep. So
you play Matchbox 20?
It's 3 a.m. No, I don't, because I'm like, I just gotta sleep. And
I need some rest. My eyes are so heavy. And I'm so tired.
And I still have to. I mean, of course, still have to get up.
You have to go to work. Yeah, there's that thing called work. Yes.
Yeah, kids and all this stuff. So
yes, the bills.
So anyway, so whatever. But so the other night, like I actually like in the middle of the night, like had like probably 2 hours of just deep sleep. Right,
hey.
Like really good, which is good. Right, that's good for me. It's good for everybody, but it's really good for me because I don't generally do that.
Right.
And so I dreamed, and so the dream that I had was we were out to dinner with you guys.
Yes.
Right. And
yes.
so
this sounds good because I love to eat.
Yeah. So
everyone knows this.
Yeah. So we're at this
suds in a waterfall not included.
So we're at this restaurant, and there was a close by. There was a mall that was getting ready to open.
Okay.
A mall.
This is a throwback because that doesn't happen much anymore.
It doesn't. No, it's usually closing a mall.
Right.
So
that's what I thought you were going to say. It was going out of business sale. And Laura was like, we're going.
Foreshadow. So I said, hey, I want to go to this mall.
Right.
Like they're doing this grand opening thing.
Yeah, man.
And Lindsay said, I don't want to do that. And you said, I don't want to do that. And Laura said, I would like to do that. I'm like, okay, well then let's go. All right. So Laura and I were like, all right, see you guys, right? We're going to go over here. And it was one of those that's like next door. So we're just going to go check it out real quick, right? So we go over to check it out. And we get there and Laura becomes a different Laura all of a sudden. Okay. It's not your wife, Laura. it becomes her, which is Laura Flynn Boyle.
What?
No idea, man. Listen,
Hey,
and just I mean, just for not for nothing, but like, you know, again, pretty attractive there, and then I don't know what happened here.
a little too much.
Looks like somebody beat the shit out of her.
Little nip and tuck, and it started to not tuck and so much, and then it kind of nipped at her.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
but anyway,
Too
I
much-
mean,
she
look, she was gorgeous.
Yes.
But you know,
and always had like that kind of freaky edge to her too. Remember that? Like they would
Yeah.
put her in those roles, and it was always like she was the freak.
yeah. So anyway, it became her, but which has nothing to do
Okay.
with it at all. But it just did, right?
Okay, where
So-
did Lindsay and I go?
I don't know.
We just disappeared.
You guys I guess you guys just hung out at again. We were only going to be there for like a minute. Like we
Because you just want to check it out. You just
wanna
want to see
check it
what's
out.
up. I got you.
So they have like this like
With Laura Flynn Boyle.
with Laura Flynn Boyle.
Okay.
So they had these like this wall up, and like you had to get like a ticket to go through to see the mall, right?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
so and like they were only giving out so many.
All right.
They're only giving out so many because the mall's only so big, and so
it was a soft open.
so we get one, right? So we get a ticket, and they let us through.
They said, "Hey, you can come in."
And they said you have to have somebody go with you to show you the mall, right?
Oh.
It's like you have to have a guide,
A tour guide.
because malls are real tough, right? It's a big building with a lot of fucking stores in it. I mean, come on. So we go
With maps.
with maps, and it's like,
And they color code it usually.
and
Usually
generally
the sections are color coded.
if it's a new store on your right as you're walking around, you're probably circling the whole mall. That's generally how squares and rectangles work.
Hey,
But
look at
you know,
you. Look
you
at
know,
you. I
just-
bet you're the master of the corn maze.
I am. Oh yes. I'm like, listen, this is not that difficult. Plus, it's a corn maze. I can also just go straight and get out of here.
True.
I mean,
When in doubt,
just go. So sun rises in the east, sets in the west.
hey.
So anyway, so our tour guide was Robin Williams.
Shut up.
It was Robin Williams, and he wouldn't admit that he was Robin Williams. And I said, "Hey, man, you're Robin Williams."
I love you.
And he said, "Oh well, no, Mork and Mindy, whatever." And
Goodwill Hunting.
I said, "But you're Robin Williams," and he said, "Oh no, I get mistaken for that all the time." I'm like, "But you are."
Except that you are, dude.
It's like you just are. And he finally said, well, maybe I am. And he gives me this card with his cell phone number, but it's written in an encrypted manner, like with like letters and shit, and like hieroglyphics. And it's like I have to be super smart to figure
You
out.
like mixed The Practice, Mork and Mindy, and Michael Douglas's The Game, like all into this thing.
That was
and
a good movie.
Apparently, Lindsay and I disappeared, and
You guys,
Laura,
Laura went to the Magic Waterfall to see that
and
one.
Laura
Yeah.
mutated.
Yeah, she changed to Laura Flynn Boyle, a young Laura Flynn Boyle. Just in case Laura's listening to this, you weren't the
Yes, the young, beautiful Laura
Yes.
Flynn Boyle.
yes,
as my wife is.
yes,
Very much.
young and beautiful, and
Very much.
that's who you morphed into. You morphed into that version.
However, you were more beautiful before you morphed.
Well, of course, she just changed to somebody else.
That's right.
all. That's
right.
all.
That's it.
So yeah,
It is the dream, right?
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so I get Robin Williams' number, and then I can't figure out how to call him,
Because it's encrypted.
and then
Could you read like the encryption? Like, could you like, or was it one of those dreams where you couldn't?
Oh no, yeah. So I could see. I mean, it was clear. What do you like? You written like in some of like Greek letters and stuff, and like, well, that's not a number. But apparently I was supposed to figure it out, and it looked like there was too many characters to be a phone number.
Cipher.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But
like
you
a
didn't have.
Playfair
But you didn't
cipher.
have the key.
I didn't have the key.
Oh my goodness!
I needed Nicolas Cage, to come help
National
me.
Treasure.
Yeah.
First National Treasure, I thought was really good.
Second one was okay.
It was okay. It was one of those. The first one, it was because it was the original.
What's her name? The Hottie McHotterson. She's like
Diane?
because she's like from
Yes.
from
What's her name?
Lithuania or something.
She's not from Lithuania. Diane Kruger.
Is she not from Lithuania?
I don't think she's from Lithuania.
They have magic waterfalls
In Lithuania, do they? Oh,
they
they have good basketball in Lithuania.
have
Have some political upheaval. Maybe not so much anymore.
the Lithuanians.
Diane Kruger, right?
Yeah.
It's Diane Kruger.
Yeah, that sounds right.
She was Helen in the movie Troy.
Oh, that's right. She was the dirty tramp that caused the whole war, right?
Yes.
You, my dear, are the dirty slut. That's what they said back then.
The Trojan War.
The Trojan War.
horse. The Trojan horse.
Yeah. I don't think he used Trojans.
I don't think it was sheepskin back then.
it was just a bag.
Just had to carve it off. And
It's just it's a Ziploc bag. Sheep intestines. So this next thing's just kind of a general comment, and this is probably not going to.
And then it just ended. That was it.
Oh no, that was the end of the dream. Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
and you couldn't call Robin, and so then you were frustrated, and it woke you up.
Yeah, I was frustrated, and I woke up.
Were you breathing heavy?
No, I wasn't breathing.
Okay,
but I was. Yeah, I was like, well, this sucks. Like, at least I could have called Robin Williams or something. But of an entire week, I had about 2 hours of deep sleep. That tells you where I'm at. Yeah, I'm supposed to tell you because you are my doctor.
You're wrestling with the recent loss.
Well, that's kind of what I thought, but I was so exhausted one night. I'm like, I am exhausted, but nay.
couldn't get into the rhythm.
No.
Interesting.
And I did, I did some blow, and that didn't help. And then I did.
Well, that would definitely
you're
not
right.
help.
No, that was
because
here's how you can tell I'm not a drug. Here's how you can tell I'm not a drug addict.
Yeah,
I have no idea what it does.
You would be. Yeah, it's a stimulant. The marijuana. If you ate or you could have
Mary Wanda Fields.
You could have an edible.
Yeah,
and that might have helped.
You
gotta have a downer.
Pretty sure I know where I can get one of them.
You gotta have it.
I think we talked about that person right before the podcast. Waka. So
bad.
So this next thing, and I can't go into the full story. I mean, I guess I could, but I can't. But I don't want to just yet. But so
okay, all right.
First of all, let me say this. This is like I'm giving everybody the sandwich, right? You're giving somebody a compliment sandwich.
Oh, hang on. You ready? I got a joke.
Okay. Right. I'm ready. No, I'm ready.
So I think we did this once before. We're going to do it again.
Okay.
All right. So I won the sandwich.
I 2 the sandwich.
I 3 the sandwich.
I 4 the sandwich.
I 5 the sandwich.
I 6 the sandwich.
I 7 the sandwich.
I 8 the sandwich.
Oh, you son of a! You ate the sandwich.
I did.
Okay. Sorry.
Sandwich.
Drinking that? You drinking your tea?
So
on your break?
There's a couple of I'm a big fan of the police department. I'm a big fan of the fire department.
Those who serve,
like fire and rescue.
Yes.
And I include teachers in there too, because that job is extremely difficult. And I wouldn't want to deal with those little shitwads every day. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't want to deal with those shitwads. Listen, I have coached children. Okay.
Yes.
And I have my own children.
In the sport sense.
Yes.
There's a difference between coaching and grooming.
Yes.
We're not a groomer.
No, I am not a groomer.
You're a football coach.
I am a coach. So
champion football coach.
A few times over, as a matter of fact.
That's right. So anyway, it's hard to be a teacher, man.
It's hard. It's hard.
I am from a family of predominantly teachers.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
You would think you would have been smarter.
Right.
Vistaprint.
But see, we know how to make the system work for us. That's what we do.
Med school.
It's just Vistaprint. It's okay.
Well, it's okay. I went to school to be a broadcaster. Taught myself everything else.
It's not competitive at all.
No. Right. Listen, I am definitely the dummy here.
No. Speaking though, hey, 35,000 plus strong. Thank you all very much. We usually try to mention that.
Oh yeah,
thank you all very much.
Almost 36, as a matter of fact. This
thank
morning.
You all.
So,
thank you all. Very awesome. Sorry, we forgot to do our little plug. Anyway, keep going.
Appreciate that.
We're trying to get to the sandwich. So, and the ADHD is forcing you to not be able to give the sandwich.
So I really appreciate and like teachers.
Yes,
but there's been a few occasions. One recently, something that I've just kind of noticed. And I notice this more with younger teachers than I do older teachers.
Okay. All right.
And what I notice is here's what I okay. Let me say it this way. There's a level at times from a teacher that's a little just a hint, a little condescending.
Uh-oh.
And
I'm sure that goes over really well.
And when I've talked to teachers about whatever with my children, right? And first of all, nobody appreciates being condescended to, right?
Correct.
And number two, I'm somewhat intelligent, and
you know when someone's being condescending. Also,
yeah,
and you're like, hey,
and it's like, let's back up here.
I know how you really meant that because there's not much faking.
And I think so much of that comes from them talking to children predominantly all day. I mean, you got to realize they spend 8 hours a day, and most of those are talking to children.
I mean, that's true.
And you have to talk to them in a level of authority, and you have to also understand that they're there to learn. So you do, in fact, at least I would hope, know more than they do. When I was in school, that wasn't the case because I knew more than a lot of my teachers. I could name them by name. There's a few of them that just shouldn't have been teachers.
Happy 100th day, by the way. They passed the 100.
They did, yeah, they did. Yeah. So it just recently, just kind of had an email. It's not an email exchange yet because I haven't replied back to the email, but like it's a couple things. It's like, all right, first of all, you just kind of copied and pasted this thing in there. Because my kid did something that he shouldn't have done. Nobody got hurt. It wasn't anything like that. Nobody got hurt. It was just hey, he shouldn't do that. Like, you're absolutely right. He should not do that. But it was just, it's like, all right, you copied and pasted this, and then you're in a condescending fashion say, please talk with your child. Really? So, and I haven't replied back again, but this is not the first time that like I've had face-to-face conversations with teachers that like they can't move on from talking to children to adults. It's like, no, thank you. We can just talk. Like I said, my IQ's at least 81, right?
You made it above the line.
Yeah. Just above.
You cleared it.
Just above. So it's like, I understand big words. I understand small words. And I feel like I'm a pretty rational
person. I could use the word aloof.
Sure.
And you would, okay.
I could say alacrity.
Oh,
I could say,
look at that.
Listen, I could say,
look at that.
Listen.
And
if we want to go like full country, I can do that too. Like we can, I reckon, right? I mean, we can do whatever you want to do.
Right.
But, and I'm generally, more than generally, always on the teacher side. If a teacher comes to me and says, your kid's being a jackass, okay,
sure, right.
My kid's being a jackass.
Right.
I agree. Okay.
And it sounds like in this case, again, you're not saying that.
Oh no, he was a jackass. Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Right. And so I think that plays a part in it too, where you get a little frustrated also.
Yeah.
Because you're like, so I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
That he was definitely a jackass, and he's definitely 100%. In trouble. He's definitely in trouble.
Yeah.
But the course of this conversation has taken a turn that seems unnecessary.
I've had doctors like this before too, right? Not you. Not you.
I don't think we do this shit.
No, probably not. Because this is
I'm just gonna go out on a limb, and he'd be like, "Nay, there's no more of this. No way."
Well, so like, just so you folks know, like when I go see Doc at his office in an actual appointment, this is basically the same conversation we had. This is basically it.
We talk about your health. We do.
No. We do. But
Yes.
I mean, your staff's probably like, oh shit, it's this guy again.
I remember our first visit. I mean, we were laughing. I remember my nurse was like, "What were y'all doing in there?" And I was like, "We just hit it off." I'm like, "Sometimes you just hit it off." And I was like, "He's funny. I like to be funny too." I'm not as funny as he is, but I mean, I can roll with it. So it was good.
No, you're perfectly fine.
Good. It was good.
And your poor nurse, when she said she goes, "Any kind of meds you're taking?" I said, and I looked at her and I said, "Well, listen, I mean, meth, but I don't know. Is that really a medicine?" And she looked at me, and I'm like, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
It's a joke. It's a straight up joke.
Now they know me, so it's not
right. No, it's all good.
Now they're like, I'm like, like
if you had said that and said, "Well, I have this weird rash on my penis," I
should have said.
I don't know. They would have been like, "Hey,
well, yeah, I've been doing meth, and
he's got meth.
Something stuck in my ass, and I can't get it out."
He says there's a foreign object in the hole where it shouldn't be.
I think
you're going to be in there for a while, Dr.
I think the problem is the hooks were turned in a way that made it easy to put in, but not pull out. So,
oh my God. So anyway,
I got something in my asshole and it won't come out. That's a Luke Josh song, just so you know. Brian Lucas, whatever his name is. Speaking of jackasses. But yeah, so my kid was being a jackass, and then I got an email.
We're taking ownership, right?
I got an email. So here's the other part of the email that I didn't like. Right? It said, hey, blah blah blah, but it never said in the email what my kid did. It's like, go talk to your kid about it. And I'm like, hey, I know this. And again, this is when.
So did you get any notification of like what actually happened?
No. We're just really lucky that Landon is very super honest, almost to a fault, where he was like, here's exactly what happened, and I'm sorry. Right. And again, I want to stress that, like, that there's no, it's nothing. Nobody got hurt. It wasn't anything like that.
Understand. So I get it, man.
But like, I mean, I wouldn't.
Kids do still get into mischief.
I wouldn't even be talking about it if somebody got hurt or he did something illegal or whatever. But
right, set somebody on fire.
Or I probably would be still talking about it. But anyway,
understand.
But like, it's like, okay, so you didn't tell me what he did. You told me how to parent my child. Okay. And it was clearly a copy and paste thing. And then at the bottom of the email, it said, please reply to this to provide confirmation that you received this notification. I'm like, oh, we gonna have a convo, because I'm not your stupid parent that just says, okay, no. I'm going to reply in kind with thank you for bringing this to my attention, even though your email had no substance whatsoever as to tell me what my child did. So I only have one side of the conversation. We're just very lucky that our child is extremely, almost to a fault, honest. Also, however, I haven't replied yet because I was a little upset when I first got
right. Never write it back as it was because you're just on fire.
So I'm going to recommend a couple of things to them, and I'm going to point them to a couple of websites that have better templates. Not joking. It's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do their job for them. Again, folks, listen, I love teachers. I do. So, I mean, no joke. There's still teachers that I had in high school and college. Yes, I went to college. I know it doesn't seem that way. I promise.
Oh man,
I went. That I still remember, and some that I even still talk to, because they had such an impact on my life,
right,
and were great,
right.
And some of them were just butt awful. But I can still feel that condescension when I'm talking to teachers at times. And that's the tone that I don't like.
It's but it's also, it's a different age, man. I mean, you cannot do anything to these kids anymore. I mean, when we were in school, the teacher had a paddle.
Yep.
And the teacher went and got a witness, and the teacher busted your bottom.
Yes. Yes.
I never received a paddling ever.
I did,
because my dad was like, let's have a talk.
I had
whatever happens, you just think that's bad.
Yeah.
And he had a sandpaper ping pong paddle, and that's what I got whooped with. So I was like, yeah,
I got paddled one time. I got one lick. in third grade.
It's for smoking those cigarettes.
It was, yeah. We were so drunk and high. I was third grade, and like you had to stand against the wall, right?
Yes.
Like police style, with your hands on the wall.
Yes.
With ass out.
Yes.
Face down.
That's how they used to do it.
Face down, ass
Face
up.
down. I know.
Which meant something completely different once you got out of school.
Right. Right.
I'll let that one sink in, everybody. But yeah, so you're against the wall, and so I got one look, and it was because like somebody threw a little squishy ball
Thing
to me, and then I threw it back to
it was
them,
moist,
and get right,
and you both got in trouble.
and then my fingers dissolved.
Right. It's like,
So yeah, so that was it, and it was Brian Rutherford. As a matter of fact, it was his fault, completely his fault.
it's hilarious.
Who I just chatted with over the weekend, as a matter of fact. But yeah, thanks, Brian. It was all your fault. But that was the only one I ever got. Was just that one.
See, that's it.
And I got what was her name? I didn't like her either. I didn't like this teacher. Well, whatever my third grade teacher was. Somebody probably knows who was in class with me. I didn't like her at all. She wasn't very fun.
Do you want me to name my homeroom teachers all the way through?
Do you
12th grade?
Really? You know them all?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Let's hear it.
All right. So Ms. Hanson, Ms. Newman, Ms. O'Neill, Ms. Fulweiler, Ms. Word, Ms. Collins,
Yeah.
Mr. Brown, Ms. Adams, Ms. Jordan, Ms. Thomas.
Wow.
They changed it in sophomore year. So you had the block schedule system.
Yeah.
So it was a little weird because you had two. Anyway, so it was, and they did it weird. Like it was like it was your second period type of thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was Ms. Gann, Ms. Overbay, Ms. Slayton, and maybe they didn't change it. Maybe that's how we did it. Yeah. So there they are. That's it.
How about that?
That's it.
I can't remember all
That's
of them.
okay. That's okay.
I mean, I definitely remember a lot of my teachers, but yeah.
But I mean, I'll say this, and I was pretty lucky. I mean, yeah, I was pretty lucky. I had good teachers.
I did too, for the most part.
I don't know. Yeah, I really did. And so I want to thank them on this podcast for Vistaprint. And just for, I mean, literally, my kindergarten and first grade teachers, I mean, Ms. Hanson, Ms. Newman, just really, I mean, I'll never forget Ms. Newman when we started first grade. They do the assignments. That's when you start having reading groups and stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess they had made a mistake or something, or I don't know, maybe my score wasn't great or whatever, but I was not in the top reading group.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened, but somehow it was like the first week of school, and she put me in that reading group on her own. So I don't know if I didn't qualify. I have no idea because I don't remember any of this.
Yeah.
But it was one of those, like, I was with the other kids, and she was like, "Shane, you need to come over here." And my mom said, like, my reading just took off.
Oh, that's
after
awesome.
that. So like her, I really, again, I could, she's still alive. I could probably call her and say, "Do you remember this, a long stinking time ago? Why did you do that?" Because like my mom didn't even really know. She was like, "I don't really know what happened." And all that stuff. I mean, I guess we could call the Tennessee whatever, and then we could find something maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think she just arbitrarily said, something's not correct here. I'm putting him here. And it made a huge difference, because then I went to second grade and me and a couple other people, I mean, we were reading beyond the third grade level in second grade. And I really think that my reading comprehension, that helped a lot. And so I credit Ms. Newman a lot, because I mean, I didn't necessarily like love to read, what I mean?
Right.
So her tutelage, however you want to, I mean, that helped me tremendously.
Well, yeah, that's
at
awesome.
A young age. And I didn't really realize that till I got older. And I was like, holy crap, if she hadn't done that, who knows? You know what I mean?
Not to brag, but
and I really think she did it on her own.
Not to brag, but I was reading at a fifth grade level when I was a sophomore in high school. Just kidding. reading and history was always like one of my top subjects. Like I was always really good in reading.
See, that's good. Like
I still love history. I mean, I still love it.
It's important. I mean, it is.
It is.
Anyway.
Speaking of history.
So Ms. Newman, thank you. You're probably not listening to this and heaven help us when we cuss because you're about the nicest woman on the face of the earth. So I'm sorry.
Y'all bunch of jackasses. And she would be right. Speaking of history, history was made last Sunday.
Look
for
at
the
that
second
segue.
For the second time, a Super Bowl goes into overtime.
Yes.
And Kyle Shanahan has been a part of both of those, and with the exact same outcome.
And not good.
So before I get into this,
and it was also the most watched Super Bowl of all time.
It was, yeah. And
why was it like the most watched program? I like ever.
Generally, Super Bowls are always there. It's actually usually the Super Bowls are 4 of the 5.
Yeah.
And then the last episode of MASH.
Yes, MASH. Yes.
It's right up there.
Yes.
Little TV history there for you too. So before I get into this, because I don't know what I'm going to say, I want to make sure that
we need to play tap.
I say congratulations again to Andy Reid because I love me some Andy Reid.
Me too.
I really do.
Berman gave him a hamburger, gave him a cheeseburger.
It's even better.
I mean, that was pretty awesome. Stupid ass Travis Kelce. But that guy,
the fact that
I don't care what he says, he's a jackass.
He's an absolute jackass.
There was no reason for that. Andy Reid, the utmost respect. He's like, I was kind of off balance and he bumped me.
Yeah.
If he'd have knocked him over, somebody should have come and just clocked him right in the ear and just beat his ass.
I remember
I do not like that guy. I do not like that guy. I like his brother. I do not like him.
I was telling somebody, I'm like, I remember Vernon Davis when he played for the Niners and kind of got a little out of line or whatever. And Mike Singletary, who was not a good head coach, went to Vernon Davis and said, hit the showers. And Vernon Davis said something, and Singletary walked back to him again and says, hit the showers. That means you leave the field, you go to the locker room, and you go home. I don't want to look at you. It's that or you're gone, right?
Of course, you also have to realize at that time in his life, Mike Singletary would have beaten Vernon Davis's ass.
Oh, God. I still wouldn't mess with Singletary.
I'm sorry. Whew. That was the difference is that's Mike Singletary.
Exactly.
Middle linebacker who's still in pretty good shape, looking at him going, yeah, you don't understand. I played for the 85 Bears, son.
I will hurt you.
So whereas Andy Reid, I mean, he might do the Rikishi or the earthquake on you or something. But
steak face.
But I found that episode the other day, this short that's online.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I'm still laughing just as hard as I was on the show. Anyway. What a messed up thing. Anyway, so yes, congrats, Andy Reid. Love the fact your career, I mean, the trajectory just keeps going up. I think that's awesome.
I will say this. This is the interesting thing, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to bring Andy Reid up, because a lot of people are talking about Kyle Shanahan and how the Niners should fire Kyle Shanahan and all this stuff. And it's interesting because we forget Andy Reid, who went to 4 straight NFC championships with the Eagles.
Yeah.
Lost 3 of them. Won 1, got to the Super Bowl and lost that. So let's
he went to 5 total.
Yeah. It's like, let's calm down a little and realize that coaches just can't win every time.
And I mean, Chiefs got a bit of a dynasty. I mean, they do.
They do.
I mean, say what you want to say. I mean, they got a little bit.
No holding calls against their offensive line, which I still don't understand. Again, I am rarely one of these.
Hey, man, Trey Smith. Woo!
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Jawan Jennings.
Jawan Jennings would have been the MVP.
He would have been the flipping MVP.
Yeah.
I mean, dadgummit.
So a couple. So
I'm gonna let you go.
A couple things, right? And Steve Wilk got fired the other day, the defensive coordinator, and
that was kind of a bad look.
I think it was a bad look based on how they played in the Super Bowl. But if you look at statistically how they've done this year defensively, they regressed quite a bit.
No, they did, but they were still good.
But still a top defense. It's just, and in the Super Bowl they played. I
did read an article where they said the problem was, I mean, you only gave up 1 touchdown in regulation to the Chiefs. I mean, that's pretty solid, and that was off that stupid muff punt.
I know. Yeah.
Anyway. And then they should have taken the ball second in overtime. I will always, but he didn't. Anyway, because they were going to get the ball regardless. So I
Yeah.
would have made them show me what they were going to do, and then you know what you have to do instead of, oh, they kicked a field goal. Well, all we got to do is get down there, and if we got it where we can kick the field goal, great. But now the pressure's on them because they have to keep us from getting a touchdown.
I think the first mistake was in regulation in the fourth quarter. There were several mistakes.
Well, the missed extra point hurt them too.
I don't think that hurt them as bad as I understand points on the board. I think the Chiefs would have probably went for it on fourth when they were close to the goal line.
That's true too.
So I don't think that would have. But the mistake, in my opinion, was after the 2-minute warning. You had a 3rd and 4. You got to run the ball. I know we tried to pass it and we had a good look, and I get it, but it was incomplete. The Chiefs had 2 timeouts left. And again, I think you run the ball twice to get a first down. I don't think you kick a field goal. I know we kicked it, we got the field goal, and then the Chiefs went down and kicked a field goal in overtime. But we had a 3rd and 4. You cannot tell me that team could not have ran the ball twice to get a first down. And if that happens, the Chiefs had to sit there and watch the clock tick down. You could have almost ran the entire thing out. And Patrick Mahomes, if you made the field goal after the kickoff, again, assuming they made the field goal, again, that's not a given. Assuming you make the field goal, you're up by 3, you're up 19-16. Patrick Mahomes gets the ball after a kickoff, probably on his own 20-yard line, with about 16, 25 yards with about 16 seconds left and no timeouts. That's tough for any quarterback. I think
there might have been more time though, because if they'd burned both timeouts though, wouldn't that have given them more time? But even still, they'd have no timeouts. Of course, now they went down the field pretty fast without actually using their timeout.
They did, but again, that's a different mindset in that point where it's
of course if they got that first down, 2 running plays, then the Chiefs then the clock's just going to run out.
Well, remember,
and so technically, right? Because if they got the first down,
right? So if you get the first, so
they theoretically burned their timeout.
It was the time. It was the 2-minute warning,
right?
And then it was a 3rd and 4,
right?
And they passed the ball, so the Chiefs didn't have to call a timeout at all,
right?
You run the ball, force them to take a timeout,
right?
And then I think you run it again to get the first down,
right. And
then it's first down, and they're taking their timeout. Then you're taking a knee,
right?
And you're running out the clock,
right? That's
To me, that was
the point is don't let them have the ball back.
Again, it's I'll take
the
my
first
chances.
down and don't throw it.
And in overtime, I was a little surprised we took the ball first, but also our defense had been out there for like 11 or 12 plays. So putting them right back on the field, that would have been tough.
Sure.
So I can't, it's hard for me to fault that. What I don't like is if I get the ball first in overtime against the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and we drove right down the field.
Yes, you did.
I'm going for that on 4th. Again, it was another 3rd and 4. And then, incomplete pass. I'm going for it on 4th because, and I know people would have second guessed that forever. It's like, well, you didn't even kick a field goal because the guy on the other end, sometimes that's hard to turn off, and you got to get a touchdown there and force them to.
That's true. I think the biggest thing is taking those chances because you know who's going to get the ball.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like them.
Yeah.
And Travis Kelce had a game. In the second half. He did.
He did. Yeah. I think for the most part, we shut him down pretty well. I do think it's hilarious that on big plays where they were going to run the ball, they bring him out because he can't block for shit. And Kittle is just blowing people up downfield. Yeah. I'm like, this is Travis Kelce is just a big dude that's got a little bit of speed, and he's hard to cover because of that.
Yeah, because he's a tight end,
and he's a jackass. So
Kittle did not have the game I was expecting. He blocked well. He did his assignments and things, but
he had the huge play that got called back for a holding call where Purdy runs to his left. Speaking of good games,
he did get that one conversion. They did throw it to him for, he got the 3-yard catch, and that was huge. But
speaking of good games, though, Brock Purdy, how about that? No turnovers.
I know.
Kid's 24 years old and had a great ball game.
He really did. And then stupid ass Skip Bayless. Oh, he's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Shut up.
It's what's funny
Shut
is
up.
I haven't watched any of that stuff.
Shut up, Skip. I just saw the article. I didn't even watch the video. I mean, because it was like the byline and it popped up and it was like the little blurb and then it was a video and I didn't click on it.
Well, I think one of the articles was the years and years ago that the 49ers picked one of the most unathletic quarterbacks and are not sure about the future of the franchise. His name's Joe Montana, and he won 4. So again, Skip Bayless to say that, and again, Skip Bayless, I mean, he's a Cowboys fan. That tells you all you need to know.
Right. And it's all about making a splash with something that's going to be controversial.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, because people are going to debate that because they're going to be like, really? He had 0 turnovers. They had some couple missed opportunities on some things. I mean, but I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it was a hard fought game. It was a little bit boring ish till the end. It got stupid exciting.
Yeah.
San Fran, I just hate it for them because you're right there again. I mean, this is, yeah. And I mean, it could legit be the same thing next year. I mean, it could
be
because they're getting into some cap stuff, San Francisco. So that's going to be interesting how they navigate.
I think this
that.
year will be fine. I think it's the next year, we're going to have to do something. But I don't know,
because you're going to have to pay Purdy,
and you're going to
keep him.
Yeah, you're going to have to pay Purdy. But I will say this to all the because I know the 49ers listen to this podcast, and
that's right,
and they're concerned about what I think. And
exactly. Lifelong fan, just
folks,
saying.
You fired Steve Wilks. I understand it. I get it. I think Steve Wilks is a great guy, but that's a Hall of Fame defense, and we need a coach that has a big personality. We need.
The problem was they never should have hired him.
They shouldn't have
to do because what they want is they wanted to keep the system. Yeah, that they had with Salah and Ryans, DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, DeMeco Ryans. They wanted to keep that system. That's not really Wilkes' system. He's more of a secondary guy.
He is, and the Niners are not. They're their front seven.
Right.
I mean,
right.
So here's what I propose to the 49ers, and nobody listens to me because what do I know? I mean, hell, I've got middle school teachers being condescending to me. What I think should happen is you should hire Rex Ryan. That's what I think should happen as defensive coordinator. That dude's a defensive genius. He just is.
I mean, that would be
big personality. The guys would love him. That is a defensive coach.
Does that really fit though with their kind of culture?
I don't know,
because
I don't know.
He's so big. I mean,
and he loves feet.
I mean, he does love feet.
He does.
The feet.
Because
Shanahan's a pretty laid back guy. Seems like. John Lynch is a bad mamma jamma. Okay, one of the best tacklers, one of the best safeties, Hall of Famer, no doubt. But he's not like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. That would be interesting. I mean, you would have a genius and a defensive mind, and that would definitely up the game.
Yeah.
And he definitely knows how to coach your front seven.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and Greenlaw getting hurt, that had an impact too.
Of course it did.
I mean,
well, Kelce didn't do anything until Greenlaw got hurt.
Yes. I mean, he and Warner really shut him down.
Yeah.
They really did. Anyway, but and heard it running onto the deck.
I know.
Field.
He did have successful surgery.
He's going to be fine. But that's a long rehab.
That is a long rehab unless you're taking the ayahuasca.
I still don't know about that mess with him and all that. Something about that that's just very odd. I'm like, was it a partial? I don't know. That's very odd. Anyway,
I think he hurt his penis. I think that's what happened. I pulled my penis.
Do not insert the crack pipe there. Anyway, ayahuasca. So, yeah, I mean, they should have never hired Steve Wilks. That's what it boils down, because that's not his system, and their system obviously works.
I thought that was interesting because I really like Steve Wilks.
He's a great coach. No, he's a great coach.
I thought that's an interesting hire,
and so it's not so much that I don't think he's just not. If you're going to run that specific system and that's what you want, that was not who they should have hired.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But it looks bad. It looks bad that they chucked him. I mean, I mean,
But I mean, you got to do it now.
no, I get it. No. I'm not disagreeing.
I know
I'm not
it does look
disagreeing.
bad, but like it's,
but it's not a good look. Of course, because Shanahan's taking a lot of flack because they're like, hey, ownership needs to start with your head coach too.
Yeah.
Or start with the head coach, period. And I think a lot of people feel like he kind of punted. I
think that
pushing a lot of blame onto that, and they're saying, well, they only gave up 1 touchdown to the Chiefs. They did, except they gave up 2, and the second one was in overtime to lose.
Well, and
they took it right down the field on them. I mean, there was no doubt.
And we also almost got beat because of our defense against Green Bay. We almost got beat because of our defense against Detroit.
Right.
And again, our defense just, I mean, really,
it wasn't the same
after the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season. It
wasn't the same. Losing Greenlaw made an impact though, but you're right. I mean, they definitely regressed. I mean, if you look at all the metric stuff, I mean, people are big analytics. I mean, if you look at that, they definitely in every category. I mean, still top 10 defense, but they were like number 1, and now they're like number 9.
I will say at times I do think Shanahan, it comes across that he's coaching a little, not conservatively, but almost just scared.
Yeah.
Like trying not to lose. And I think that's a hard way to coach. Sometimes you have to be aggressive, and sometimes and again, you see the other side of that, right? Dan Campbell will tell you that. Here's the other side of that. When you're overly aggressive, shit, we lost a game.
Right. That's correct.
A game that they should have won.
Correct.
But
correct.
So, I mean, but again, I just think it's overtime. Your team's exhausted. You got a 3rd and 4. I'm going to either get a touchdown or I'm just going to turn the ball over, and it is what it is, because the guy on the other end will lead that team down.
And he did.
That's what, I mean, we remember Super Bowl 24, one of my favorite Super Bowls, when, you leave a little bit of time on the clock and it's on the 8-yard line, and you've got the coaching staff for the Cincinnati Bengals going, oh no, we just gave Joe Montana a minute something. He's got to go 92 yards, but it's Joe Montana.
Took him right down.
And he did it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, John Taylor. Mm-hmm. Johnny T. Yeah. Who got another ring. So, again, I don't know. It's easy to second guess that kind of stuff. And I wouldn't have been second guessing any of it if the Chiefs had turned the ball over in overtime when they had, it's like, oh, well, the Niners won. Victory and winning is a great deodorant. So I mean, it is.
Winning cures all things.
It does.
It just does. What other observations? Or just general comments? Because this was your team, and and I'm mad because that was who I said was going to win. I don't like being wrong,
Well,
and I'm heartbroken. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't take it as hard as you did, but it was upsetting because I wanted them to win.
It was interesting in the 3rd quarter because I felt like we had a chance to really separate. Brandon Ayuk ran a wrong route in the first half going back. He should have went to the pylon. That's what you do there when you break open. He didn't, and that's where Purdy threw it. That would have been a touchdown. We didn't block Chris Jones, and that would have been a touchdown to Juwan Jennings because he was wide open.
He was wide
and as soon as Purdy saw him, you could look at Purdy's eyes, go, oh yeah, here we go. We win in the Super Bowl. And Chris Jones just got right in his face, caused him to go backwards and couldn't throw it.
Yep, I know.
But in the 3rd quarter, we get the interception, and I'm like, oh, this is it. We're on the 40-yard line. We are going to march right down the field. We're going to eat up about 8 minutes. And we're going to kick a field goal or get a touchdown, and we're going to start separating from this team because they're going to have to start playing a little more desperate. And, we had 3 and outs in a row.
Yeah.
And it's like the Chiefs said, please take this game from us.
Yeah.
And our defense was out there sweating, and they were exhausted, but playing great. And the play calling was just really interesting. Again, we had some holding calls and some things that didn't help us. But it just really felt like we got away from running the football when we really needed to run the football. And when we did run special things to Debo and stuff, we ran them to the right where Chris Jones was blowing everything up.
Right.
The left side is where Trent Williams is. Go that way.
Correct. That was interesting. I
didn't understand because it made Debo look like it was a bad play, and it's it wasn't a bad. It was
you ran right. Go the other way.
Yeah, go the other way.
Yeah, I don't
If it's
know.
Chris Jones against Trent Williams, I will take Trent Williams every time because he is a massive human being,
Right.
and you're not going to get past him.
Yeah, I like. I mean, you're right. They definitely had opportunities.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
I felt like we left 24 points out there.
Oh, I think that's legitimate.
Yeah. I think this could have been a 40-point something Super Bowl for the 49ers because I think we outplayed the Chiefs virtually the entire game. I don't, again, it's one of those where it's just, I feel like sometimes you're conservative to a point, but then once the other team kind of flips that switch, it was kind of like Tom Brady in the Super Bowl against the Falcons, right? Sometimes once you turn that on, you can't turn it off. And that was Mahomes. I mean, once you turned that on, it's like, and you could see it in the fourth quarter, like, oh, here we go. Now he's turning into Mahomes, jackass. I think that, again, looking back at it, like there were some play calls that I questioned. I mean, I was screaming at the television after the 2-minute warning. I'm like, what are we doing? You bleed this clock. And if you don't score, you don't score. You go for it on fourth there. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. And the Chiefs get it. And they probably go down and win the game. And then everybody's saying, well, why'd you go for it on fourth? I think there's times that Kyle should be a little more aggressive that he's not. And again, it could have been the same outcome, right? I mean, he could have been aggressive and we might have lost by 10 or 15 points. I don't know.
I think that's a hard thing.
And again, and I've coached in big games. It's hard to make those calls, right? Like, because I mean, it's in the heat of the moment. You're having to make a call, and you're like, okay, and you got people in your ear saying, "Hey, no, we got to kick the field goal. We got to kick the field goal, or we got to put the butt plug in, whatever." and what am I listening to?
Two great kickers for what that's worth in the game.
Yeah,
I mean, wow. I was like, okay, 7 50-yarders in the whole history of the Super Bowl, and they made 3.
Yeah,
that's nuts. Anyway, not that. Anyway, that's just a little side note. I mean, nobody loves the kicker, but I was like, dang, these guys are pretty good.
The final observation, though, is I cannot stand the Kansas City Chiefs. And one of the biggest reason that I can't stand the Chiefs is Travis Kelce.
There you are.
I just can't stand that guy.
There you are.
And when he bumped Andy Reid, I'm like, everything I thought about Travis Kelce is 100% true. He's an absolute
Taylor,
asshole.
dump him.
And she'll write an album about it,
I like Taylor Swift. I do not like Travis Kelce. I will say it again. You can call me a Swiftie or whatever. I don't know what she's doing because that guy, no.
I do think it was, it was
his brother. I like his brother.
In the Super
brother's crazy.
In the Super Bowl when they showed her, she was there with Blake Lively, right?
Yes,
Ryan Reynolds.
She's also pretty tough.
And I thought, and I was looking at Blake Lively, and I'm like, oh God, she's way prettier than anybody else in that booth. Like, good Lord, Blake Lively is gorgeous. Good job, Ryan Reynolds.
I like Ryan Reynolds.
I do too.
He seems like a good human. I mean, really and truly. Kind of the underdog story rose. He used to be anyway. Yeah, I mean,
2 guys, a girl in a pizza place.
Yes, I know, right?
Yeah,
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Man, got buff, got his teeth fixed, got his hair fixed, and bam.
Got
Blake Lively.
Banged Scarlett Johansson
Strong
before that.
work. I'd take Blake Lively.
Oh yeah, she's gorgeous.
Over Scarlett Johansson, I would.
There's an argument to be made for both.
You like her with the red hair as Black Widow.
Oh, of course.
I knew where that was going.
Oh yeah,
I knew where that was going. I mean, not right. I get you.
When she's the redhead, it's
a different game.
It's a all different game.
It's a different game.
It's So football's over. I do want to say
kind of tough times now.
March
Madness coming though.
It is. I do want to say thanks to all the folks who checked on me throughout the week on Sunday. If I didn't get back to you, I'm sorry. My phone was absolutely blowing up. So there was several people who was like, dude, I'm just checking on you, man. Like people that don't even like football were like, dude, are you okay? Like, I just want to make sure. It's like, I just heard the game went into overtime and I cannot imagine how you're feeling right now.
It made you feel good, the love and support.
By the end of the night, no joke, by the end of the night, I'm not kidding. According to my watch, 14,000 steps.
Oh my God.
14,000. 4
he had
miles.
to take a nap before the Super Bowl. He had to take a nap.
I was all over the place. And then like I went to bed that night and I was absolutely exhausted, but couldn't sleep. And then the rest of the week I couldn't sleep either. But yeah, so football season's over. March Madness is coming up. It's going to be tough until that happens though.
Yeah.
I just don't watch college basketball until then.
We're a little bit away.
So I know that means I'm probably not a true college basketball fan. And you would be right.
That's okay.
I like the tournament because the tournament's cool because of all the underdogs and stuff. And you've got Jim Bob University getting to the Sweet 16 and
love college basketball.
It won't be the same this year without our friend Jim Nance, but
it's okay
because Jim's, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing porn or something, so he can't do this. But he left.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
What a great sign on. We said thank you for being my friends.
Yeah. Thank you for being my friend.
My favorite legendary, I mean, there's been several, but of his last season calling it was actually Nance when Duke won the West Regional.
Yeah.
And it was, because he thinks about this stuff. It's just like the wide right when Buffalo misses the field. They have, and he says, and the music is still playing for Coach K's last dance. And I was like, that's this guy.
That's pretty cool.
He's just good anyway.
He is. Yeah.
He's going to be hard though without Jim Nance.
Yeah.
Iron Eagle. It just doesn't.
No,
it just doesn't get me. But
and I can't. When I hear his name, it just makes me think of Iron Eagle, which was one of my favorite movies from the 80s.
Yes, Jason Garrett, right? Or not Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett, right? Jason something. Jason Garrett was the former coach of the Cowboys. What is his last name? It's Jason something.
Is it Jason something?
I thought it was Jason.
I don't know.
Anyway,
yeah,
Louis Gossett Jr.
Yeah,
Louis,
who did 2 more of those movies,
right?
And they were awful.
That's okay. The money was good.
That third one,
the money was good.
Was the worst thing one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Okay. That's okay. The money was good. That's it. That's it.
I hope it was.
I bet it was.
I don't know. But I love me some Iron Eagle back in the day.
The original.
Yeah. The original. His name Chappie Sinclair.
That's it.
Chappie.
Look at you.
Chappie Sinclair.
Look at you.
Yeah, so March Madness coming up. Maybe I'll go watch
missing the foosball. We'll be missing the foosball.
And again, I won't watch ESPN or anything sports related for another week because I want the Super Bowl to be out of there.
Yeah,
I don't want to
be at least another week
because I don't. I've watched every Super Bowl multiple times, folks. All of them, except for 3 of them now, and I will never watch those ever again.
Got to turn the tide, man. They got to get back on track.
I hope so.
Got to get back on track.
I hope so.
Predictions for next year, real quick.
Oh, okay.
Way too early predictions.
The way too early predictions.
Way too early predictions.
I think it's going to be hard for the Niners to get back next year to the Super Bowl. That's tough. I mean, the fact the Chiefs got there and won 2 in a row. There's a reason that only happens about every 20 years because it's hard, right? I mean, the 49ers did it once before, but with one of the best teams I've ever seen. But it's hard to do. So the chance of the Chiefs making it and winning again is very slim, I think, in my mind. I know they're probably going to be the darlings right now, and everybody's got a big, massive hard-on for the Chiefs. But I think the Viagra wears off, and I just don't think they get there.
They've still got 3 rings. They're doing all right.
And if Burrow is healthy next year, that could be a tough team. Jacksonville proved that they can be good too. And the Ravens, I mean, even though they can't win a playoff game with that guy, which we didn't get into
it's okay. There's always next week.
Yeah, there's always next week because there's a funny story.
Chargers might be coming on.
They got Harbs, man.
Might take a season or 2. So I think I'm calling it, man. San Francisco running it back, going to make it back.
Yeah,
I'll leave it at that.
Okay, I like it.
They're going to make it. They're going to have a breakthrough this next season. I just feel it. It's the ultimate redemption story. They're getting it. Chiefs are not going back.
And Purdy finally gets a ring.
Purdy gets a ring. Kittle gets a ring. CMC gets a ring. Most importantly, Kyle Shanahan and that defense get a ring.
You think they'll give me one, like an honorary ring?
You can get one.
Yeah.
I have a patient that gets a Super Bowl ring every year.
Really?
He gets one every year.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know like if it's like the ring, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they offer that to the public. They do. Yeah. Anyway,
probably a little pricey.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
He's doing okay. Anyway. Thank you, Germany. Thank you, Canada. Thank you, everybody listening to us.
episode 71
Thanks
of the
for
Dave and
checking
Doc
on Dave.
podcast.
Thanks
I
for
do
checking on
appreciate
Dave.
that. I do appreciate it. And I'm doing just fine, everyone. I can't sleep and my penis might fall off.
It's
But outside
the
of that,
end of the world as we know it.
all things David Doc on our website at DaveDoc071.com. That's DaveAndDoc.com.
Thank y'all.
Check us out, folks.
See ya.
Almost 36,000 strong. We'll see you next week, folks.
Bye.
See ya.